Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking. So it is currently, at the time of filming, 3:46 in the morning, and I've kind of been on vocal rest for the past couple hours, which sounds so dramatic to say, but my throat's really going through it right now. I'm almost getting nervous that I have tonsillitis, because I've said I've had mono so much in the past, what's it called? Oh, I knew the name for it, but it was like glandular fever. I've had that so many times in my life, and it could be that as well, but it also could be something more serious. So I do need to get it looked at, but I was hoping it would go away by now. I've been drinking so much green tea and stuff, but it hasn't, and filming videos has been a task. And so I haven't talked for the past couple hours, and all I want to do right now is talk. So I just drank some tea, and I had some soup, and I'm feeling a little bit better. So yeah, the second channel, so we're just gonna chill. So basically, I'm gonna talk about a couple things, but if you watch my videos when I film in here, and I have like a bunch of magazines back here, I buy magazines, especially whenever I'm like on a trip or something like that, and I never look at them again. So while I'm talking to you, I do kind of want to go through the stuff that I do have in here, because again, I don't really come into that room, or this room, that often. Especially like since my friend was living in here and stuff like that. But, oh, actually some of these are my friends. Oh, sorry, I'm literally wiping the dust off of them onto the bed, which is disgusting. Yeah, some of these are my friend Rachel's. Oh, wow. Oh, great, I have a bunch of stuff to go through. So I had a couple like Vogue magazines, but she had a bunch more here. And then I have this Miley Cyrus magazine here, which is like a huge one. Oh my god, there's so much dust in it. She's kind of naked on the front cover, so I don't even think I can show you. But I wonder if there's like a photo inside of her I can show you to kind of like get the vibe, because this is like a really... Oh, well there's Lady Gaga. It's really beautiful. Wonder if there's like a photo of Miley Cyrus I can show you. Oh my god, Andy Cohen. My mom loves Andy Cohen. There you go, mom. I'm trying to... This magazine actually slays. I don't think I've ever looked through this. See, I buy them. Madonna's Daughter. See, there's a lot of nudity in this. I'm scared to show any of it. But it was like really like interesting photo shoot with Miley Cyrus. Like, you know, like Photoshop and silliness, and I love it. It's camp. I don't know, I think magazine photography can be quite boring, so I like whenever they push it off a little bit. This is actually a very beautiful picture of Lourdes. Isn't that her name? Madonna's Daughter. My goodness. Sorry, we will talk about things, but I just haven't really looked through these before. Wow, these are really... She literally looks like a younger Lady Gaga, right? Yeah, definitely. But anyway, I'm trying to find the cover girl, Miley Cyrus, anywhere, please. This magazine's really cool. I remember buying this in New York with my mom. We went into this little, almost like bookshop. It wasn't a little bookshop in the slightest. It was by the Crocs shop. There's a lot of Andy Cohen in this. My goodness. They must have like multiple different feature stars or something like that. It was by the Crocs store, like right by Times Square. And it had all these magazines. Okay, so here we see Miley. Okay, I definitely don't think I'm gonna be able to show any of these pictures because she is... And if she's not, then there's someone else who's... Okay, well this one's fine. There we go, beautiful Miley Cyrus, there we go. Anyway, they had like all the magazines, and I always used to... Because I like, a big part of my life has always been like fan culture. I always loved going online and seeing like my favorite celebrities were going to be in like a magazine, and then the magazine was never available in the UK or Ireland. So I went into like a magazine shop for the first time ever that had all of the magazines that I always loved, which was like Vogue. Now we have British Vogue, but American Vogue is so much better in my opinion. Or at least it was. So anyway, these are the ones my friend Rachel left. I don't know if she realized she left them here. Actually, she left a lot of shit here. No shade to her, but she left a lot of shit here. Because she's in the process of getting a house right now, with her friend, so she had to leave a bunch of stuff here. But I mean, I'm glad she left these. I can read these. Angelina Jolie. See, I'm not loving this picture. I think this picture is quite boring, and I think that these colors are blending into this a bit too much. I think this picture would have been amazing if she had some bright outfit on, because it would be so contrast to this. Do you agree or disagree? I'm gonna do that for this. We have another beautiful one. We have another beautiful one. We have yet another beautiful one right here. We have another beautiful one. None of these are my ones, so I'm not gonna talk about them. I'm just, because I don't have like stories attached to them. But I do have a story attached to this one. So this is Billie Eilish. I think this is like a really beautiful picture. By the way, that was so boring. That's the only ones I have in here. And then I have a Being Britney book that my friend bought me, which I have not read. But anyway, this magazine was whenever I decided that I was going to start collecting Vogue magazines. You know the way you always see people, like, I always think they have, like, their life together. Like, they have a huge stack of, like, a certain kind of magazine. And for a lot of people, that's Vogue. Like, they have, like, every collection of British Vogue, or every collection of American Vogue, or Cosmopolitan, or something like that. And I wanted to start doing that. And I think I got, like, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And I stopped at December because I realized that the magazines were huge and bulky, and it's all nice and well having a collection, but I didn't care to have a collection of magazines anymore. I just liked having ones that I had. So I kind of have a collection of magazines all around my apartment that I have no real purpose for. But I saw people having this conversation in the Muckers Facebook group, which if you haven't joined it, what are you doing? Join it. Talking about, like, what do people collect? And it was really interesting going through it because, you know, a lot of people have a lot of different attachments to different things, which then leads them to collect things. There was a lot of people that like hardcore collect teddy bears. There was a lot of people that, my brother collects pop vinyls, you know, the little like dolls of, like the plastic dolls of like celebrities or pop culture moments. He collects them, and I never understood it. I never understood it. And I love when people have a passion. And I think that when people collect things, they have a passion for it, and I respect it, and I love that. But there are so many things, whenever people have collections of them, that I respect and love that they have a passion for it, but I don't get it, because it just kind of feels like if you have so many of one thing, none of it is special anymore. And I don't know if I just have that opinion or what, but I'm trying to think of like examples in my life. This is like really weird, but like if I buy like a Diet Coke, I cherish that Diet Coke a lot more than if I buy a huge like multi-pack of like 20 of them. I barely will touch them. There's something weird. That's like a general one. And then another one would be CDs. I loved collecting CDs. And I never would play them because I never wanted to end up going through the collection. So, and magazines is the exact same thing. Like, I just kind of, I don't read any of them in the end, and then I'm like, alright, why do I have these? And then whenever I, like, take them away from my space, there's such a, like, empty spot, that I'm like, oh my god, maybe I didn't actually care that I was collecting them, and maybe it was just clutter for me. And I think that's a lot of things for me, where it's like, a lot of people think I have a collection of things, and I'm actually like, oh, I look at that as clutter. I've had a couple people come into my apartment where they say, oh my god, I love your collection of whatever, and I turn around and I'm like, oh, thanks. And in my head, I'm like, I didn't realize I had a collection. I just had too many that I need to, like, go through and throw out. So, that's interesting. And I feel like I'm like that with clothes as well. Like, I really want to do, like, a series on my second channel, because it'll inspire me to do it as well, of going through my wardrobes and donating or throwing out or keeping or whatever, or cropping or, you know, cutting or styling all of the clothing pieces that I have, because I've collected, you know, clothes over the 2 years that I was here. And I brought clothes over from Ireland when I moved, and there's so much in my wardrobes that I wear the same rotation of clothes every single week, because I couldn't be bothered to, like, deal with the collection of clothes. It's too much to me, and I look at that like a collection is too much, and it stresses me out in the end. So I'm like that with it, and I have these conversations with my friends all the time, and a couple of my friends, like, the most they collect will be like fucking disposable vapes or something like that. And I was like talking to one of them about it. I was like, what do you collect? And they were like, oh my god, I've like kept every vape that I've ever had. And I'm like, that's weird. That's weird. And I never understood as well, oh my god, it's so funny me talking about like, oh, that's weird about vaping, whenever my voice sounds like I've been smoking for 100 years right now. I promise you it's not that. But anyway, like, people collect like Monster cans or Red Bull cans, or, you know, I've seen like Mountain Dew bottles people collect, or like, I never understood that. I never understood specifically the Monster cans. And now there's probably a couple people watching this who have a similar type of thing, and I would love to know like the reasoning for it. I know that like Monster cans have like different colors and, you know, whatever, but it just kind of is like, I don't get it. I don't get it, honestly. That to me, I don't understand. I'm gonna be honest. All love, all respect, I don't get it. I don't get it. But I would love to get it. I would love to understand it. But yeah, I think whenever I moved and was in my own space, I think it took me a while to realize that I have like hoarding mentalities within me, because I get a connection to things, which then leads me to collect things, which then people think it's a collection, whereas I just struggle to get rid of things. Who's texting me? Oh, it's someone liking my story. So yeah, that was a really big thing for me, and that was a really big thing for me to get over whenever I moved, and it took me probably a year to get over it, and even still I'm struggling with it when it comes to like clothes and stuff, where I'm like, oh, I can't get rid of this shirt. Even if I don't have a good memory with it, I'm like, I really enjoyed wearing that like 2 years ago. I don't want to wear it anymore, but I really did enjoy it. And maybe like one day I'll wake up and like, I'll want to wear it again. And then I'll keep it. And then I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm like that with so much like decor around my apartment, where I'm like, ugh, I really want to throw that framed piece out, like that framed poster. And I'm like, oh, but that was there whenever I moved in. Like, that was one of the first things I put up. So like, if I get rid of it, I'll feel like, you know, I'm like throwing away like one of the first things in my apartment. And then I go into this like full, I've had like so many times where I will like bag things up to like throw them away. And then I like rip open the bags and like put everything away again, because I like really struggled. I don't anymore, which is great. I kind of have a mentality now where I like really don't have attachments to like things in my apartment. And it's so weird, because I went from like night and day to it. Like, for example, I would really struggle to throw away this magazine, because I'd be like, well, the fucking dust. I'd be like, oh, that I bought it then. That was whenever I started the collection. Now, I would just throw it out. The only reason I haven't is because it looks nice with this bare table. So once I get something to put there, I'm just going to give these magazines to probably like a charity shop or something. I'm sure the charity shop would love a nude Miley Cyrus magazine. I'll keep that one. I like that one. But yeah, I really was set in my ways for so long, that kind of led me to like have my apartment be messy 100% of the time. And it wasn't even that it was really messy, but it was just that there was so much stuff. And especially when it comes to the animals, oh my god, when it comes to the animals, I used to struggle to throw away like dirty toys. And by dirty, I mean just like ratty, like they were like hanging on by a thread, like that shit needed to be gone. I struggled to throw that out, because I'd be like, oh, that was the toy that like Bonnie had when she was a baby, or that was not really Bonnie, because a lot of Bonnie's stuff I couldn't bring because I got her in Derry and I brought her here, but Dolly specifically, and the cats, like everyone was raised here, so it's all their stuff. And I really struggled for so long to like be a fucking adult and go through their stuff. And I wonder if anyone else is like that. And even now, that'll be the only thing I struggle with. I can see a CD, I can see a framed photo, I can see a journal that I've had, I can see whatever. Nope, do not care, I can throw them out. But sometimes you'll catch me on an off day where maybe I'll like find like a basket of toys that the dogs used last year that need to be thrown out, and I'll refuse to throw them out because I'll be like, oh, but it just reminds me of Dolly as a puppy, or reminds me of whatever, and then I'm like, oh, no, we're gonna throw these out, like, because I try to keep a rotation of the dog's toys and also keeping them clean and stuff. That was always something I noticed whenever I went to my friend's house, whenever they had dogs, which was that the toys were never clean. And that it's not about replacing toys or anything like that. It's about keeping the toys clean. I think that's very important, especially when it comes to hygiene for any of your animals. And so I really have made it an effort to like rotate the dog's toys, put them in the wash them by hand, dry them, put them back, like whatever. So I'm more of I'm more aware of the stuff that I have now when it comes to the animals, and I think I'm also more aware of the stuff that I have in my apartment. But also, I used to be the kind of person that only thought that people would think that my apartment would be lived in, decorated, if everything was filled. If the walls were filled with posters, if there was cupboards filled with everything, if it was filled with food I was never gonna eat because I'm one person, or if I had 100 magazines on the countertop and it's like a magazine table, or my like vinyl display with like 50 records on display, and like my desk is filled with little decor things. Like, I thought that that was the only way people would come into my apartment and be like, wow, he knows what he's doing, he's an adult. And the longer I've lived here, the more I can't believe I was ever like that, because my walls are bare and there's not a lot of decor in my apartment these days. And the reason for that is because I really enjoy the minimalist look. And what's so fucking bizarre about all of this is I now think that I don't care what people think about my apartment, I care about what I think about my apartment now, and that's when I know that I like have properly grown up. And I know that I personally feel that my apartment is like done whenever it's clean and whenever there's not a lot of stuff around. So I like my counters to be clean. I don't like anything on it. And I don't know, it's like I went from being someone who needed everything to someone who, that stresses me out now. And that's actually something that I don't enjoy. And that is why I wear a lot of, you know, like I have a lot of clothes, but I wear a lot of the same shit every single day. And that's why I don't go, I used to go clothes shopping on all of like the most fashion-y websites ever. And I haven't done that in so long because I now prefer to go thrift shopping and buying like hoodies or shirts or whatever. And it's like, I almost get like emotional attachments to things. I don't know if y'all know, well you will, but you wouldn't have really taken notice of it. I have this like cream sweater, it's like this. I think I've worn it most days since I came back from New York. I got it in Brooklyn, and I have worn it as like a comfort thing every single time. I got it for $3. It has been the most comfortable thing. I feel comfortable in it. I feel that I could like go to bed in it, but I also feel like if I was going out to coffee, I could go in it. I feel like if I was going out to dinner, I could wear it. If I was going to the club, I could wear it. Versatile, love it for everything. I used to be someone who would have multiple outfit changes in a day, or no, I can't wear that to the club, I can't wear that to the restaurant. No, that's a daytime wear. Now I just have my pieces that I get at thrift shopping, and I wonder if anyone else is like that, where it's kind of like I've always heard less is more, less is more, less is more. I genuinely believe that now, and I never once thought that I would ever be that person, because I never was that person growing up. My parents can tell you I always had clutter, I always wanted everything, and now that would stress me out. It stresses me out whenever I buy things on Amazon and the fucking boxes arrive and it like is taking up my space. It's so weird. I became such a control freak with my space, and one of the main reasons for that is probably for the first year and a half of me living here, I didn't invite people into my apartment, and the reason for that was I didn't like people in my space. Now I invite people into my apartment and I'm like more aware of like what I want to display, like how I want to come across, and I just think I was trying really hard whenever I covered my walls in head to toe pictures of like Paris Hilton and Mariah Carey and you know, as much as I loved that and that was camp or whatever, and I still love all those people, that is just like, to me particularly in my apartment, that feels tacky now. And I love posters, and I have posters in the kitchen. I actually have 2 Bonnie Tyler ones, or 3 Bonnie Tyler ones, I don't know, and a Rina Sawayama one, and a poster of a bunch of cats eating dinner or at a bar that I got in Paris, and that's it now. And everything else is paintings or like framed canvases. That was never me. Like that would be way too sophisticated and way too boring for me, and people would be like, oh, like that's boring. And that was like, I don't know, I feel that like, the more I walk around my apartment and the more stuff I see, sorry, please keep in mind it's like 4 a.m. Is it 4 a.m. now? Oh my god, it's 4:07. It just kind of makes me feel that my mind is cluttered as well. And I'm 100% like that in my bedroom. If my bedroom is messy, it used to be whenever I was younger, that was fine. It was almost like a comfort to me. It used to be comforting to me that my bedroom would be messy. And the reason for that was because it used to feel like snug and like my little like getaway. Now, if my bedroom is like not very tidy, I feel that I can't focus. I like will sleep in all day. I like don't want to go in my bedroom, and then I feel like I don't sleep a lot because I don't want to go in my bedroom. It's like everything falls apart and I like have no idea what's going on. I've like turned into like the complete opposite of what I've been for 19 years. Or I'll say 18 years, because this was all happening whenever I was 19. And I think as well, and I don't know if this plays into it, and I would love to know if people, like, what your take is on it, but the more that I go traveling, and the more I go into hotels have a very, like, cleany vibe, right? Like, they're very, standard, or I don't know what the word is, but they're very, hotel-y. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're a bed that's made, the floor's tidy, the desk, you know, has stuff on it, but it's tidied well, bathroom's clean, bathroom's tidy, and I think that I now find so much comfort in hotel rooms that I wanted to make that, like, a staple in my living space. And I think that's why my bedroom is such a big focus for me now. But also, I used to never value the place in which I lived. I used to never really value my apartment. And the reason for that was because I was traveling so much. And this is I'm not saying this to complain, but I'm saying it in how I feel that I've grown up and matured. And I will pat myself on the shoulder for that, because I feel like I was relying so much on going from hotel to hotel that I never really looked at my apartment as home ever. And like, I would travel with the dogs, and you know, it wasn't really for them either, which was weird as well. I don't know. But I feel that when I took a moment to actually live in my apartment, which sounds weird because I always was living in it, but I just feel that like I was never emotionally, does that make sense, or do I sound really stupid? I feel like I was never emotionally present at my apartment. I was just kind of like staying here. I remember I stopped doing things for a couple months, and I actually put time into like making sure my apartment was regularly clean. Getting rid of shit that I just felt was like taking up space in my mind. Then I started loving my apartment. Then I realized, oh my god, my mental health is so much better whenever I'm taking care of the space in which I'm living in. Sometimes cleaning is my favorite activity in the entire world. Sometimes it's the last thing I want to fucking do. But whenever my space is clean, I feel like, alright, like, okay. And whenever it's messy, I feel messy in my brain. And I really want to know people's opinions on that, and if you've like struggled with that, where you're at with it currently, because I think it's such a fascinating thing. Even if you are living out of a hostel, whether you live from hotel to hotel, whether you are living in your bedroom, whether you're living with your family in your family house, whether you're living in a caravan, whether you are living in an apartment block with your friends and you're all sharing a bed, or whatever your living situation is, how particularly do you feel most at home? Because for me, it is clean, no clutter, barely any decorating as well, really weird. I love the bareness of it all, which I never thought I would ever say, and it's smelling good. That for me is what makes me feel comfortable in whatever living space that I'm in, and that applies to if I'm ever in a hotel, because they normally smell good as well, so like, and they're always clean. So it was like applying that, and then I realized that, wow, I was able to, getting out of bed didn't feel as much of like a chore, and oh, look at that, I actually can cook myself dinner, and wow, I don't feel like I don't want to hang out with people or invite people over. It was like everything changed, and I want to know for you, like, what it is that like makes you feel comfortable and at peace. I really would love to know. Oh my god, this was such a little tangent. I never know what we're going to talk about. I never know what we're going to talk about. I am going to end it because I'm really, really, really struggling to talk. I love you so much. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to rest up. I love you. I will see you in my next one, and bye. Mwah!